Hello, and welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. My name is Dadman, but you already know that. We've got a little burn to do with the big refueler, so we actually get a closer encounter with Duna. I did make sure that this does orbit the same way around as the crew hub will once it's there. So I just wanna aim at this maneuver node. And fire. Turn a little bit over. We are still carrying around those big engines, by the way. They still have 213 meters per second left in them. So we're gonna use that partially to come into orbit around Duna. Don't wanna go too low here. So let's actually go away from the radially outwards and more towards the radially inwards. Because I really don't need an aero braking maneuver with this thing. And that currently is one, so please just I gotta turn around a bit and burn it up a bit. Because that's definitely not where I want to go. That's too low. I don't have any heat shields on this. I don't want to aero brake on Duna. That would be really bad. That's better. 141, that's fine. Okay, for all I care, we can delete this and go into the sphere of influence of Duna. Days in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and tell this to orient itself retrograde. Or actually, let me tell you that once you're inside the sphere of influence. Close the alignment on pause. That's 5 in-game seconds until we are actually in. There we go. Right about here, I wanna burn retrograde a few hundred. Like, yeah, probably like that. That won't let me encounter Ike or anything. However, yeah, that's fine. We can rendezvous with stuff from there. I'm actually oriented pretty okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say get over there, and as soon as we're on, we're gonna go ahead and time warp. That's on enough. Gonna look at that from here. Of course, as soon as these burn out, we're gonna drop them with this. And then we're gonna drop the fairing, and then we're gonna activate these and release the panels. I'm gonna F5 for safety. Hi, Duna. I like how it actually calculates the outer things differently for the time, so I actually have a lot more time afterwards to burn than before the node. Close the aluminum pause. Excuse me? What? What? I'm gonna assume that was some random bug. I mean, seriously. Like, get that off to the side or something. Well. Let's burn. X. Drop that. Actually turn that around. Why are some of those not... Excuse me. Well, anyway. And boom. Why are some of those not hooked up correctly? I should have probably done some fuel lining. Never mind. F5. 1. And 2. Everything's fine. We've got tons of RCS, we've got tons of liquid fuel, we've got tons of electric charge. We're fine. Although I do not understand why some of this is hooked up and the other stuff isn't. However, like 4 are hooked up, which is kind of weird. Like really weird. Cause then I need to actually shut this one down to be balanced. At all. Which I find kind of a waste of stuff. Well, I guess I'm gonna shut down the non-working ones and just have them be stupid stuff, I guess. Hello, lag of death and despair. Yeah, and this is exactly why I'm burning under Ike's orbit. Because I don't wanna at all encounter Ike at any point. Because Ike's being a dick when it comes to encounters. I'm just gonna assume I'll get the crew hub into a similar orbit. Like, that should be possible. Similar enough so this can go ahead and turn its orbit to be okay with that and stuff. I think we're fine. There's no way we're gonna encounter Ike like this. We're way too high up. Not out enough, far enough. So, okay. With that done here, the next thing to come up is the Eve to Kerbin window. So we're essentially gonna leave this in orbit around Duna. I am really pissed that only one of these outer ones works. Like, why? On the other ship, this worked fine. This doesn't make any sense. Well, I should have fuel lined. I should have fuel lined these here, just because. Safety. And these from here or something, I don't know. Good, lesson learned. In any way, you can stop holding retrograde. You don't need to. And we're gonna go to the Space Center for now to switch over to Eve. So, since we are closing in on actually completing every contract that I currently have accepted, and there's not really anything here that I find very interesting apart from what we have already done. Flyby Bob, atmospheric flight on Jewel. You wanna stay there? Suborbital flight on Bob, fly by Tylo, Wall, and Lathe. Land on Bob, orbit around Bob, suborbital flight on Bob. Fly by Pole, suborbital space flight on Jewel, and orbit around Bob. Yeah, that's stuff that I definitely don't want to do. Duna, Eve, Gilly, Tylo, Kerbin, Pole, Minmus, Jewel, Sun. Yeah, that's also not something I want to do anymore. Because when the ship comes back, I'm actually just going to land all the tourists and that's going to be it. That's going to be probably the last thing that we do. Since that's going to take probably the longest time, since we still need to land on Ike and on Duna, and then get from Duna to Jewel. Which is actually a thing that I should put on the thing. Add an alarm for a transfer window from Duna to Jewel. That's after the Jewel Kerbin window, so after the Pole Base 1 has its return burn. Which also is something that's definitely happening. Yeah, so I guess once these ongoing missions are done, I'm just gonna put Kerbal Space Program on hiatus until either I really want to play more, or until 1.1 is out, which is more likely. But until then, we've got some stuff to do. Because I'm really looking forward to 1.1, and I'm really done with this stuff here. So, Eve to Kerbal. So, look over at Eve. Cyrova, that's over there. The only thing, Eve return vehicle. You guys are gonna come home in 35 days. Let's time warp. Sorry if you're getting vertigo from this. Three, two, stop it. So just to make sure that this works here with the... Okay, this is about as close as it will come to Ike, and it's not encountering it, so that's fine. Gilly, there we go. Eve return vehicle, fly. You're getting your setup. Okay. Let's see. We're there. We need to go in that direction. That's kinda okay, I guess. I don't know. Add a maneuver here to burn out. That's kinda not it. Oh god, I can't burn out here. Great. Set Kerbal as a target. Give me more burn. An extra orbit won't help, right? Yeah. How about making this less stupid? There we go. That's the burn. That's the burn we're doing. That gets us an encounter. That's all we need right now. We can get we can go for everything else from there. So let's see. We've got 1,800. This costs 1,200. Fine. Doing it. Keep that heading and time warp. And kill the Eve return window, because we don't need that anymore. We don't have anything left at Eve that we want to get home. This isn't right. That ejection angle is not right at all. Anyway. Hi Eve. And close the alarm and unpause. And Z. And since this takes over a minute, I'm gonna cut you dead out. Cut the engine. And look at the look at Kerbal. Focus view. Where are we? Okay, is that gonna get me further in? not really. Okay, so what I want to do now is set up a maneuver like around here to get the encounter with the atmosphere, and then from there we gotta just have it fall out of the sky as per usual. This does have a heat shield, so we're fine. We've done this before. As per usual though, I want this to be here, and yeah, that should be fine. F5 for safety, and time warp out of the Sphere of Influence of Eve. Goodbye. Close the alarm, pause, and 5 more seconds, we're out. Come on. Good. And over here, add a maneuver on the previous orbit, please, so I can actually affect my encounter. Focus view on Kerbal, and from here I wanna burn up and in, I guess. I've got 500 left. I don't think that the moon will give us a nice gravity assist. I'm gonna try though. This is worth trying. That's about as good as it gets, and that's not gonna capture us. Unfortunate. I mean, if we focus you on the moon. Not really. That's doing the exact opposite. Yeah, forget it. Not even trying. We're just going for an aero brake. Okay, so we can get a crash within 300, 400 meters per second. So we have enough to actually make this an aero braking. I'm gonna go for a 33 periapsis and just let the heat shield take care of slowing us down. And that is not happening until like very much later, so we're gonna look into the galactic north for now, so we have a panel in the sun at all times. And then we're gonna go over to the next thing that happens, which is the Grand Tour Hub doing a nice little burn, so jump over there. Okay. So, you've got 2,000 meters per second left in there. That should be enough to get everything done. So, if we look at Duna. Focus view. We're coming in the same way, essentially, as these guys. So, if I just go... Oops, that's maybe a little bit much. If I just tilt it like this, we should get a pretty much exact copy of this orbit. Or at least exact enough to get this thing to catch us. So here we're gonna burn into an orbit. That's gonna cost us 200. Here burning into an orbit costs us into a very weird orbit, by the way. Not even slightly where we want to be, actually. Well, we can always correct stuff. That's not the problem. Second node, 1200. Fine. So kill that node for now. Point at the node in question for the next maneuver. And get that burn done, which is a roughly 1 minute burn again, so I guess I'll see you once we've completed that burn. Okay, done. So, next thing to happen is the pole base gets to Joule. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna do that in the next episode. Till then, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and until next time, I'm WW Dadman. Bye.